Listen up, cluckheads.
You're listening to Whiskey and Whine
With Rooster and
the Madman, where we talk about common sense, current events,
the Constitution,
and morals, while comparing drinks of yesteryear to drinks of today.
So sit back, relax, leave us a comment.
Here comes Whiskey and Whine.
Yep, we got good signals and everything. We're
all right.
Ready to go.
Cool. So, roll call. Rooster.
Present.
Madman.
Present.
Jizzo.
Hey, Jizzo's in the house.
Overlord. Overlord?
I'm just kidding.
The Overlord's not really here.
He skipped again?
That's what he gets for saying he's coming and not coming. So
this is 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
I was kind of wondering, but at this point we may have to gag him and kidnap him and bring him over here.
He'll bring his own ball gag.
Yeah. Red card out of the gates.
Sorry.
Be like, all right, here's the deal. I'll drive.
I think you got like a economy pack of them.
But you got to bring your own. You got to bring your own ball gag and whips.
Well, like a family pack them or something. I'm not sure.
All right, so we're recording.
Do they come in family
economy
packs?
pack, maybe. I don't know. Gets a bulk discount.
He gets a bulk discount on ball gags.
And recording.
Welcome back, Luckheads.
You know who we are. You know what we do. Current events. And
common sense.
Constitution and morals.
It's me. I do my best, guys, really. I try.
Over there, yeah. But not the Overlord.
Now, we talk about, here recently we've done a lot of, like apples to apples, but we're going back to a little old school.
Old school.
There's no school like the old school.
Yeah.
And, like when we first started the show 64 episodes ago, because we're on episode 64 this week. Yeah. We would do like a high end versus a low end, or at least a something mid range and low range. I'm bringing it back tonight.
Sweet.
I am bringing it back tonight. Just like with the name of the show, we are doing Canadian whiskey.
Oh, that is the whiskey without the E in it.
That is the whiskey without the E in it.
It's pronounced whiskey.
Whiskey.
A.
Whiskey.
The reason the E's not in it is because they say A, so it has
From Canada.
Whiskey A.
Whiskey A. They put the E on the end with an H.
Yeah.
But anyway, so tonight I specifically looked for something on the bottom shelf.
Okay.
As almost far right as I could.
Okay, well, you got to be careful. That's extremism right there.
Well, the problem with that, the one that was on the very bottom far right at this particular store, we have done before.
Oh.
And it was one of the ones that we actually ended up sending back over to the Overlord's house.
The McCormick's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's the one that smelled like beef bouillon or something, didn't it?
It smelled like regret and bad decisions. Yeah. But that being said, this fine baby.
Yeah, I like it.
It was right next to it. So I went with Canadian Mist.
Well, that doesn't sound as low end.
But let's just be honest. Do we really miss them?
No, I mean, but this bottle.
See what I did there? All right, so this bottle.
Yeah.
It is 100% SeaWorld friendly.
Yeah, you can take the family SeaWorld.
You can take it to the pool.
Do they have SeaWorld in Canada?
I will fact check. I don't know.
I don't think I've ever.
Maybe they're like Moose World or something.
Wow.
Moose World, eh?
Then they could do that same thing in Russia with Moose and Squirrel World, eh?
Moose and Squirrel.
Moose and Squirrel World.
No,
but anyway.
This is a pretty cool plastic bottle, though.
It is imported from Canada. It is a blend that is known for its mellow character and smooth taste.
We will find out.
Now, it's 40-80.
Okay.
All right. So it's 40%, 80 proof. Now, before I open it, do we think it's got the spill proof top?
Absolutely.
I vote yes.
You think he's got a spill-proof top over there, Jizzo?
No.
All right.
I will go no.
All right. So we're even. See if Morals and Rooster here are the winners of the chicken dinner we had.
It's so poor quality. I don't like so like.
Hey, man, the skull had it.
That is true. Oh, y'all were
And
right.
it does.
Y'all were right.
Yep. It
Y'all
had
were
it.
right. It had
Yeah.
it. All right.
And they
so
really did kind of dirte this bottle up a little bit
it really
rather
is.
than being
It's
your
got like the
typical-
contoured bottle. But here's
Yes,
what
it-
I noticed.
Yeah.
Here's what I noticed.
It's for gripping.
It's for gripping.
That's awesome.
It fits perfectly around the thumb, and if you look on the backside where the other ridge is,
Yeah. So for those of you who can't see what we're talking about here, it's got the G.I. Joe Kung Fu grip on the bottle.
all right. So let's do this. Let's do our Sleepy Joe Biden sniff test here. Okay, that made my Copenhagen taste bad.
Sorry.
Makes me feel so good.
Yeah, it's not smelling like the worst one we've ever had here.
It's not, but whenever you know how like,
But it's not smelling.
You know how like the people at the
Yeah.
at the festival, how they taught us how to smell.
Yeah, it's
Whenever it hit my tongue, it made the Copenhagen taste bad.
Yeah, this is smelling more like rubbing alcohol.
So it doesn't smell like the worst, but as soon as it hit my taste buds, it didn't taste like one of the better ones we've ever had.
It has a rubbing alcohol undertone smell.
Yeah, with a hint of malt.
But I'll give it. It's almost the Johnson & Johnson rubbing alcohol scent to it. Not just the the CVS or the
Not
Walgreens
Walgreens brand.
Yeah.
It's not the Equate
It's the
brand.
name
Selective in your eyes are
brand,
purple.
90%, not that 70%.
It's not the Equate
No.
version. What did I do with the lid? Oh, there it is. It blends in. All right. All right. So now let's move on over to yours there,
Yeah,
Rooster.
so what I'm holding here is a really nice bottle, actually. It's I've heard of this one before. Pendleton whiskey, also Canadian.
Oh, before you go there.
Yeah.
So this whole bottle of Canadian Mist is $7.50. $11.
Nice. How much was the Pendleton?
So I think that's a $7.52.
Yeah. It is.
Not $7.52, but $7.50, comma
Yeah,
2.
we got it.
Just making sure.
$7.50 as well.
Yeah, commas they do matter.
And it was so
works.
so this was not the high end Pendleton. This was the low end Pendleton, but it was still $29.
Okay, good.
So it's literally over twice the price of our friends from the
It should be
Canadian
twice as
Mist.
good. Now this one it boasts true Western tradition. So yeah, it's cool. It's got the bucking cowboy on it and everything. So the Canadians are known for their cowboys, eh?
Bunking, they're
Something like that.
they're bronking moose across the Canadian Rockies there, eh?
Yeah.
All right, so let's
I
go.
rode a
ahead.
wild badger once.
Sound like that's something that should have been in Fargo.
Yeah.
You having problems there?
Yeah, it's got that stupid extra wrap on it.
Let the adults handle it.
Got it.
Let the adults handle it. I'm going to hand it to
All you gotta
Morals.
do is you just gotta really manhandle it. There we go.
Or
It's a
woman handle it
cork.
respectively.
Oh, it is.
Wow,
A cork.
it's a real cork.
Huh?
Look at that. Cork smells nice too. All right.
Smells like
So
cork.
also 40%.
So it's a 40/80. Yeah.
Smells like whiskey.
All right. I'm gonna do my Sleepy Joe Biden sniff test here.
I like the cork. The bottle's nice. The cork is nice.
It smells smoother than the other one.
Yeah.
Did you ever look up see if they had
it's one of those
SeaWorld?
nice collectible kind of cork caps too.
Oh, it is. Did you ever look see if they had SeaWorlds in Canada?
They do not have SeaWorld in Canada, but they do have Marine Land in Ontario.
Moose World, Marine Land, whatever. Right close.
So, just out of curiosity, because moose do dive deep to get vegetation off the lake, the floor of the lake, and stuff like that. And because that the orca is the killer whale is one of their natural predators, should they be included at Marine Land?
They probably are. Probably part of the petting zoo, eh?
The largest land mammal in North America, and it's a part of their petting zoo.
Exactly. All righty. So, taste test first?
Yeah, let's go ahead and let's taste this Canadian Mist, and then we'll look up some of these topics.
Canadian Mist.
Let's get our clinkage on. Jisso's got a glass up in here tonight.
Prost, eh?
Prost, eh?
I can hang with Canadians.
God, it smells like rubbing alcohol.
Oh. Hey guys. Yeah. Whew.
It burns.
It tastes like $7.99 a bottle of whiskey.
Yeah. But you know what? Better than Kentucky Deluxe.
Also true.
And it's better than McCormick's.
Far better than McCormick's.
And
better than Kentucky Tavern.
But that being said, guess what? It still is leaving me prickly on the insides.
Hey.
Dickel whiskey.
We haven't made it there yet, but we will.
One day.
One day we'll make it Dickel whiskey.
All right.
But no, this definitely
words for a minute.
This definitely leaves me prickly on the inside.
Yeah, so
it's rough.
If you're really cold, this will warm you up.
If you're having problems starting a fire,
yeah, this will take care of that. Gas prices are too high.
pour a bottle of this in.
Yeah,
I have the feeling
if
this
runs
one
on jet fuel. This will take care of it.
I had the feeling that two things. You can mix this with styrofoam and you've got your own homemade napalm. Yeah. In that, too, this is going to end up over in the dungeon.
Well, this would definitely be, if I was going to just buy whiskey for mixing and I needed to save $1, this would be one that you could definitely mix and kind of help kill that flavor for it.
And that you give to everybody but you.
Yeah, it's, it burns the back of the throat immediately.
This is already bad.
It smells just like it's... Wow.
I'd like to say it's going to get better, but it's not. Every sip, it just keeps getting a little bit worse.
And it gets harder. The second you get up to, and if you pause to take another sip, the smell kicks in and it just burns your nostrils.
You got to set it back down.
You're like, oh, I can't do it. So it's like NyQuil. You just got to take a shot quick.
You know what? We should make this the next viral trend.
Yeah.
Cooking your chicken with Canadian Mist.
Not the worst, though. It's not the worst thing that we've had out here. It's not the worst one we've had out here. All right, let's get into a topic, though.
All right. You want to start it or you want me to?
I'll start this first one. You can take the second one.
Oh, so now I get to take sloppy seconds. That's what it is.
Well, you can do the second one first if you want.
So you're saying that I can do number 2 first before number 1?
Yeah, absolutely.
Nah, just go ahead.
All right. So
I'll just go ahead and wait, and I'll wait because that means that the number 2 is going to just be well worth the wait.
All right, you ready? You get the timer going.
I'll start the timer whenever you're ready.
Oh, I'm ready.
Are you ready?
I am ready.
Just start.
Did you take another sip of your whiskey?
I've already taken several sips of that whiskey.
Go for it.
All right. So the Nord Stream pipeline, that's not an American pipeline. That's the pipeline between Western Europe and Russia.
It sure would be awful if anything happened to it.
Yeah, it was a joint venture. Russia controls the flow of it. They send natural gas to Europe for
and they never
their
built
energy.
the second one.
No, that's because of the war in Ukraine. It killed the second one.
Yeah.
Well, it blew up.
No.
Yeah, it blew up. The Russians are calling it eco-terrorism or
sabotage.
Sabotage. Even the United States is calling it sabotage. European Union, NATO, they're all calling it sabotage. The difference is who's getting blamed for the sabotage.
So hold up. Let's back up to the environmental terrorism.
Yeah.
So rootin' tootin' Putin, pew pew, that he is saying that it's environmental terrorism.
Yeah.
Whenever he attacked Chernobyl.
Yeah.
And stirred up radiation.
Well, he didn't really attack it. He was just trying to take it.
Well, but then he did attack two of the other.
It was an ethnic nuclear power plant.
He did attack 2 of the other largest nuclear power plants
also,
in Western Europe.
Probably ethnic Russian plants.
Okay. And somehow that's not environmental terrorism.
Not at all.
Okay. I just want to make sure I was on the same page.
No, you're good.
Because, also they were able to capture on film and video fighters that had tactical nuclear warheads that were armed at the beginning of the Ukrainian invasion.
No, that's one of his aces up his sleeves.
But that wouldn't have caused environmental terrorism.
No, because did it? go off.
Oh, got it.
Yeah, see how it
Got it,
works.
okay.
See how it works. Yeah.
All right, I just made sure I was on the same page.
So basically, Europe and NATO and the U.S. are blaming the Russians, and the Russians are blaming not Europe and NATO, specifically just the United States and Ukrainian forces for it. It's a weird deal. It was underwater where it was blown up.
So it's almost like it had to been done by a special forces team or like a submarine.
Yeah, somebody
or
with
a
an
drone,
actual
or a drone that
good
had
Navy or something, you know,
Yeah.
that kind of does that one.
You know, we have a really good Navy.
Yeah. And the other weird part about it is late February of this year, President Biden actually stated that
Our commander-in-chief.
if the war in Ukraine was to happen and continue, that Nord Stream pipeline would not be a viable option for energy. It would be dismantled.
Yeah, that's just because he's so smart that he was trying to predict the future.
Yeah, and so they asked him how would that do, and he said, "Well, you just have to trust me. It'll stop working."
Come on, man.
So I mean, I don't want to join the conspiracy theory ranks on this stuff because Putin's not a good guy. He's not. The problem you have in this situation is he has nothing.
Nothing to gain from
a
this.
common sense perspective. There's no gain for him
There
blowing up
is
the pipeline.
no gain.
That is
this.
his leverage over Germany and the rest of Western Europe on stop supporting Ukraine or I'll cut your energy off.
Yeah.
Now, the United States, on the other hand, we have a huge win in this pipeline goes away, which is now Europe and all of our NATO allies are now dependent on our energy because they use natural gas as energy in Europe.
Huh.
And Russia sits on a
It's
huge
almost like
natural
none of
gas
this could be
pipeline.
planned like that.
Russia sits on a huge bed of natural gas, but the United States sits on a bigger one.
So I'll go down the conspiracy train. Choo choo.
Uh-oh, what's this?
So what if Rootin' Tootin' Putin did
Sorry, I was taking a drink.
want to destroy it so that he could then deplete his own resources and drive his country further into socialism and depending on whatever he gives them.
So it wouldn't be him because he could have just turned it off.
But he's already there.
He's already there and he could have just turned it off. But what you're saying is partially right because if we ended up having to supply all of our natural gas to the NATO members, then that's going to take more of our strategic reserves out, making it where that we have to rely more on the government. We have to.
Yeah, now the government has full control over energy in Europe and the United States.
Yeah, so you're not off. It's just that it's the wrong country. Yeah.
So then the U.S. would be further crippled because
Yeah,
our
'cause-
resources are going to go to
again,
supply
'cause
somebody else's.
Putin didn't have to blow up the pipeline.
He could
just
have
had to turn it off.
He could have just
And say, you know what? The on switch is in Russia. I'm going to keep it turned off until you do what I want. And then he could have done the other part, which is keep the gas flowing and charge ridiculous prices for it.
that way it would have driven back up the
But
price
with it
of the
blown
ruble.
up, he has neither one of those options. So he basically had two aces up his sleeves. One is the nuclear threat, but the problem with the nuclear threat is that's mutual assured destruction. You start dropping nukes on Europe and the United States start dropping nukes back. So unlikely in that scenario. And the other scenario is just that economic and energy deal. So it's...
Yeah, he had no strategic advantage. Oh, timer just went off.
Yeah, I mean, say what you want on it, but it's certainly suspicious.
Suspiciory. All right.
So,
But that was a very good point there, Morals.
not the same topic, but also, I know before we get into our next topic, the U.S. Embassy today, right before we started recording this, actually sent out an announcement asking all Americans to leave Russia right now.
Well, that doesn't sound ominous at all.
No, not right on the tails of this pipeline being blown up. And
Foreshadowing.
yeah, seems a little weird. They're saying it's because of Russia's escalation in Ukraine.
Yeah.
It just seems to be timed with the same day of the pipeline. Not saying anything, just let people draw their own conclusions.
You know, I think it was Yoda or it might have been Ryan Reynolds in Deadpool 2 that said, it's down there in the basement right next to a big ball of foreshadowing.
Thank you, Ryan Reynolds.
Such a pretty man.
Well, you know, he is a Canadian treasure.
Oh, yes, he is from Canada.
And, you know, I bet he would never.
Canadian whiskey, Ryan Reynolds.
I bet he would never
Maybe
drink.
he's involved in this episode.
We're not going to say that Ryan Reynolds is involved in the episode, but we're not going to say he's not. You know, I bet he wouldn't be caught drinking this. This is far, far below aviation gin.
Yeah, there's no way. So I did notice on his announcement with the Hugh Jackman being
Deadpool
Wolverine,
3, yeah.
that in his perplexing trying to figure out what to do Deadpool 3,
He
plugged his aviation gin whiskey
right into a coffee cup.
I was like,
I
nice.
saw that. And I was like, Ryan Reynolds, you're my man.
If he just could have called Hugh on his Mint mobile phone, he got all his product placement out of the way.
Yeah.
Did you notice that the costume he wore, though, was the one at the end of Deadpool 2? It
was the X Factor.
Weapon X.
Yeah.
Or not the Weapon
X-Force.
X, the X-Force.
Yeah.
X-Force.
It's okay, Sugar Bear.
Yeah. I would never yell at you.
You know, I think that X-Force would be the next best series for these etched glasses that we're about to
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
look into.
Oh, so before we do that, how do you feel about Canadian Mist there, Morals?
I think that it's worth all $7.99 a bottle.
It was $10.99.
It's not worth
makes
$10.99 a bottle.
It's not worth $10.99.
It makes my eyes mist up. Because it burns.
They shot for Canada and they missed.
Jizzo, what do you think about this Canadian Mist?
I think it would make a good mixture for sure.
Yeah.
If you're spending the $10, it's good.
And if you're locked in the dungeon, this is a treat compared to the McCormick's that we sent over there last time.
You can sit right there next to that John Kerry cutout, and you can prop your feet up on that box of Steel Reserve.
This would be more of a Trudeau cutout.
And moving on. So,
all right, so now let's.
But not the one where he did blackface. That's inappropriate.
That is inappropriate. So now let's. But you know what? That kind of leads into our next topic. So before we get there, let's go ahead and take a sip of our Pendleton whiskey. And before we clink, did you notice?
I did notice
that these are in the acid etched glasses from the United States Marine Corps logo on them that you can only find at giftedchicken.com, home of all your beard, bath, and body needs.
And one of the ways you notice is if you run your thumb across the emblem, you don't feel it.
That is true.
That's because it's acid etched and not laser etched. Laser etch actually takes away the glass.
Well, did you know that at giftedchicken.com you can actually order these for all branches of the military, excluding the Space Force? Did you know that?
X-Force coming soon.
X-Force coming soon.
Space Force, next X-Force. All right. Let's go ahead and get our clinkage going on her with our Pendleton. Prost day.
Well, that's mellow.
That's really good.
That's smooth.
This is tasty.
I like that. That's
good.
It
doesn't burn your throat at all.
No burning there, eh?
No, it's got flavor. It doesn't burn.
Lack of prickle.
Wow.
It's like you went high dollar on a Thursday. You didn't just leave her sitting back there behind the 7-Eleven dumpster.
You might have even bought her new shoes for this one.
No, from like Payless, not from like.
Well, that doesn't exist anymore, so more like Walmart.
Oh.
Yeah, Payless went out of business.
That's right.
I hate that.
So do I. You know what I hate more? I decided I was going to get a sandwich for the first time in forever at like Schlotsky's.
Okay.
The only sandwich I ever would eat from Schlotsky's, it was the pastrami on rye.
Okay.
They discontinued it.
No, I really like the turkey original.
Well, I like the pastrami on rye.
I feel bad for you, man.
You don't look like you feel bad for me.
That's because I like the turkey original. I actually called the company and said, hey.
I was like, hey, I'm trying to pull a joke on my buddy, the Madman.
It'd be great.
Could y'all just tell him that this sandwich is discontinued?
No, they're telling secrets.
They are.
As he eats a pork chop.
We're talking about my meat that I'm eating.
No.
Are you got some tasty meat there in your mouth?
Yeah.
Is it bone in or bone out?
A thinly sliced bone-in chop here. It's quite delicious.
So it doesn't have very much girth to it. It's thin. It's thin.
No, it goes right.
But is it tasty?
Yes.
Okay. So Jizzo's got some meat in his mouth that's got a thin.
I don't want to taste.
Appreciate that, Jizzo.
I don't want to taste.
You know, we're good over here.
We're fine over here.
Y'all want to throw the pork chop in the mix for the taste testing?
No, we're good.
We're good.
I mean, there's still some left.
Nope, we're good.
No, we're good.
So we should probably get to another topic.
Let's go ahead and start the second topic. You said I could start this one.
You can start this one. So
what was the second topic that got brought up? Okay, yeah, I gotcha.
This is why I took the first topic.
Number 2.
How do you?
Time taking number 2.
Is It's Canadian. It's a Canadian.
D.
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 Duh.
De toi.
Un. D.
The big ass.
All right, Tyler, so here we go.
Sorry,
Timer.
it's French Canadian.
So, and we've talked about the whole cancel culture before and how it's absolutely clucking ridiculous. Now it's getting brought up again, and do you know why?
There's no telling. I can't keep up with the woke movements.
Just take a guess.
Who's canceling? I'm gonna go with somebody tweeted something or said something in the past. Possibly it's on TV.
Okay, so you're just hitting all the broad topics.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
pretty
Okay.
much.
Yeah.
So we had John Wayne in the 70s.
Yeah, they tried to cancel him over a Playboy interview he did in the 70s, and they wanted to rename a small municipal airport because somehow he's offensive.
Okay.
And we had George Bush in the 80s.
George H.W.
No,
No,
that
he
was
was
just
actually a
here
couple years
recently.
ago. It was right before he died. He's in the wheelchair.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a lot of his cognitive abilities left. But yeah, he made, I guess he tried to pinch somebody's butt or something, and she filed sexual harassment. And
So
it's
anyway.
just, I mean, come on.
And we could include Kevin Hart. We could include Ricky Gervais. We could include Dave Chappelle. Obviously,
Except Dave Chappelle and Ricky Gervais don't care.
they don't care. You can't include Kathy Griffin, even though that she had death threats.
Well, Trump tried to ruin her life when
I
she
know.
did that severed head thing
I know.
on TV.
But now, the LGBTQT plus community was trying to cancel Netflix because Dahmer, the Making of a Monster series, had the hashtag the LGBTQT plus whatever.
Yeah, I can't keep up with it.
And the reason why they had that label as a part of it and in that section was because Jeffrey Dahmer was homosexual.
Yeah.
And especially for the people that were in Minneapolis whenever they were living through this, he was preying on that community.
Yeah.
But they threw a fit saying that he doesn't represent all of us, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so they were trying to cancel that. Netflix caved in. And then they found the lyrics to Dark Horse by Katy Perry.
Katy Perry.
Katy Perry. And
Why would they want to cancel Katy Perry?
well, because in the song Dark Horse, whenever the guy comes in rapping, he says something along the lines of "Eat your heart like Jeffrey Dahmer."
That's it.
That's it.
So I mean, if I was going to cancel,
That's how sensitive people are
but
getting.
that doesn't make any sense.
But
So-
it's just clucking stupid that they keep bringing up stuff from
but I'm
people's
saying
past.
what's stupid about that is if you're going to cancel Katy Perry, you got to go after something else she did. Like I kissed a girl and I liked it.
That's offensive.
That's absolutely offensive. It should
That
be
is offensive.
I kissed a trans, non-binary, lactose intolerant person, and I thought it might be okay.
Don't forget the
Were-
asparagus also.
were they gluten free too? You didn't say
Almost
they were
likely,
gluten-free.
yeah. I mean,
Were
that's
they-
well, no, I don't want to assume gluten intolerance. That could be.
I want to
Maybe
throw a
bad,
card at this,
okay.
but I can't even. It's too real. Just
Yeah, the funny thing is, you hear all those people all the times going slippery slope, slippery slope, slippery slope, and we're living the slippery slope. It's just getting ridiculous. Cancel to cancel.
Yeah.
I mean, people like Harvey Weinstein needed canceled.
Yeah.
I mean, that dude
Epstein.
Turns
canceled.
out, Dr. Huxtable.
Epstein
Yeah,
expired.
Yeah, Epstein didn't kill himself, but so you have all these situations,
Neither
and
did
these people need to
Maxwell.
these people need to be canceled. Just like we need to see the Epstein Island list in the flight logs, but whatever.
Yeah.
But then they take it too far, and then they're like, oh well, some dude at a bar, he tried to give me his number, and I didn't ask for his number, therefore I was assaulted. What?
No, that was just because
No,
while you were there,
that's
I
not-
threw the salt shaker
That's not
at
how
you.
that works. That's not how any of that works. It's just they take it too far. And I'm not saying they shouldn't do it, but they take it too far.
Yeah, and the whole thing with the Katy Perry lyrics, I'm just like, come on.
So I was actually
That no one gave two clucking rats clucks about this until the Dahmer series came out on Netflix.
Which I'm really still bummed to find out that it turned out it wasn't a comedy. It was a sitcom. That's what I was hoping for. I was like, hey man, let's do it.
And next week on Netflix, Dahmer, the musical.
But I did see a lot of people are saying that the what's his name, Evan Peters or Peter Evans or whoever the guy plays Dahmer, they're saying that he's a sexy man. Dahmer.
Oh, timer just went off.
Eat it right up.
Wow. Just wow.
It was kind of hard to swallow that joke.
Yeah.
I had to choke it down.
He's a juicy piece of beef.
Easy there, Madman.
So y'all have successfully had morals leaned into the microphone for like the last solid 10 minutes.
Waiting her turn.
Very minimal intervention. I've been impressed.
Yeah.
Well, we have learned some class.
They've learned how to skirt the topics.
Yeah, when I drink, I put my pinky up now.
Kind of disappointed that, he didn't somehow make skirt steak.
Well, he wasn't into skirts.
Wow.
I thought we covered that already.
Yeah, I guess
the beginning part of that one. So,
and on that topic, let's go ahead and move on to the next topic. So, how do we feel about the Pendleton?
I like it.
I like it.
Same, Jizzo.
It's not too shabby, smooth, and gives a thumbs up.
I will say it's the best Canadian whiskey we've had so far.
How many Canadian whiskeys have we had so far?
We did that Crown Royal something, and then whatever was up against McCormick's.
It was the Crown Royal and Coke.
I thought that
the Crown Royal Limeade. We
did a Crown Royal Apple too, didn't we?
I had to go back and look. I thought that the mixers that you were talking about was like the pre-canned ones, where it was like the Crown and Coke and the Jack and Coke, and the Crown had that weird ginger.
Yeah, but we also did a Crown one of the fruit flavored ones too. I thought.
No, it was the Crown Vanilla.
No, we didn't get Crown Vanilla. That's the one we wanted to try.
Because you can't get it right now.
Yeah, you can't get it right now. That's the one we wanted to try. But anyways, I like it. So, good job.
We like it. So now the go back.
Yeah, we need to go back.
Let's take this Pendleton. There's a great little bass out in Pendleton too.
And then sip on the mix.
Oh, it's so harsh.
That does not go back well.
With the lemonade, it would be phenomenal.
Wow.
With a lot of lemonade, it would be good.
So,
that hurt.
With whiskey for color.
So I'm going to say,
it's prickly on the inside.
I'm going to say that Canadian Mist
it went down the wrong pipe. It's
stronger than Pendleton.
Oh, it's burning my lungs.
The problem is that it's not a good stronger. It's a much stronger flavor, but kind of like crap. And it burns.
I think we're getting 4 thumbs down on the go back.
So, yeah, that's not good.
Oh, dude, that's burning like the top of my lungs.
Yeah, it's not good.
Went down the wrong pipe.
It's not good.
Here, lay on your back.
Nope. You had a bone in your mouth earlier. We're just going to, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, you were talking about your snail trail and all kinds of other weird stuff earlier. So
that was kind of weird because it came from the dog.
It wasn't my trail.
Is it? Was it?
If you say so, man.
All right.
So, moving on.
Oh, it's one of our favorite topics.
Oh, yeah.
The big FU.
Stands for follow up.
FU. It does not stand for follow up.
Please, IRS, don't follow up with me.
All right. Well, let's see here. Let's see. What do we have for some of the follow ups? Oh, you want to start? You want me to?
I'll take this one.
Of course you will.
So, Nancy Pelosi, Scarecrow.
I love her.
Yeah.
I always wonder whenever she's like on camera, who's running hell?
I don't really know, but I mean, she's got a couple of minions in training.
One of them being Lucifer.
Yeah. But Pelosi's always to me, I always try to see the positive in things. Like I've always said, you think you're having a bad day. You just remember there's some guy out there named Mr. Pelosi. Who's doing very well in the stock market.
I know.
And DWI is just thrown out.
And it was so funny, like last week, whenever somebody called her out at a press conference saying, hey, do you think that your husband were able to make these stock purchases because of insider trading. She like she was like, no, that's no. And then she just pushed the mic down and walked off the stage.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, wow, that doesn't.
She's had a couple of fun incidents this week.
She has.
She decided to visit the New York City Music Festival because they were, of course, doing climate change, raising money from the music festival. So they had all the A-listers that they get a hold of the music industry and stuff out there in New York doing their thing. So she did a surprise visit on stage. And they introduced her to Speaker of the House. And so it was in Central Park. So it was a big crowd.
She got booed.
She got booed off the stage.
Booed off the stage.
She got booed by the masses in NYC.
I think that's their way of saying thank you, no thank you.
Yeah.
It's
a pretty liberal city in a pretty liberal state.
Yeah, liberal city, liberal state.
Yeah, so that was.
But that was just like whenever she was at the immigration rally, and all the immigrants started chanting that she's a liar.
It's really weird when you're an immigration rally for mostly Latino people, and the Latino people start calling you a liar,
and then they have
at the immigration
escort you out.
Yeah.
Well, and the homeless rally.
Well, that was
a different person. That was a different person.
That was Kamala.
But this one at the immigration rally, she did make sure she made all these people understand that they were absolutely wrong, and she's the only one in the room who's right.
She literally, as they were chanting, she pointed at them and said, "You don't know what you're talking about."
She didn't say it.
No, she did.
Shouted it.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, she got into a yelling contest.
Yeah.
So the immigrants don't know what they're talking about their immigration experience.
Correct. They have no idea. They're not. They're just amateurs. She's the professional in immigration.
That's one of the reasons why right now we're seeing some of these countries that have been primarily blue-leaning countries, left-leaning countries, pretty much since World War II.
Oh yeah,
that now, because of so many different problems that it's caused. Yeah. Italy for the first time since World War II turned red.
Yeah, that was. I want to say it should be unheard of, but no, they are absolutely fed up with all the woke movement. Yeah. People forget
even
Italy
Sweden.
It's a very Catholic country. And they're pushing progressive-ness on
Well, you're talking about Italy, but yeah.
In Sweden itself, they made the switch.
They broke 247 years of neutrality because of the Ukraine and Russian.
Yeah, and now
conflict.
They've got, and I think from what I read is that the rest of Scandinavia, which would be Norway, Finland, all that stuff, they're all poised to go extreme right.
Yeah.
No more left. Europe is going right.
Well, look what's happened in all the countries, France and all of them.
Yeah, it's weird how these things happen,
but speaking of immigrants, where in the world is Kamala Harris?
So I tracked her down.
I did too, and she is on the border.
A border.
The border of South Korea.
She's going to the DMZ.
Yeah, she's at the DMZ.
So she apparently is confused about her border czar status.
Yes.
And is in the wrong country at the most heavily fortified border on the planet.
Also true.
So maybe she's researching so she can improve our border.
That's a positive outlook.
She's going to put landmines on her border?
And that being said, that because there's been no human traffic there since like the 1950s, it's actually become like this pretty good wildlife preserve.
Yeah, it's nuts.
That being said, it is also completely riddled with mines.
It's got all kinds of crazy stuff on the DMZ.
And that literally
trolls,
North Korean and South Koreans in the United States that you up until just a few years ago, you'd always hear about some random person getting shot from one side of the border.
Anti-aircraft, they got armored vehicles patrolling it. It's nuts.
So that one little strip is demilitarized, but it's heavily militarized.
It's weird how they call it the demilitarized zone. Is probably the most heavily armed zone on the planet.
But you know what? Maybe because the fact that the morals is trying to see like some of the positive aspects. Maybe she's trying to learn a thing or two.
Yeah, it's weird. The last president actually went to the DMZ too and met with the North Korean leader.
Well, especially like because of all the anti-aircraft, we could put those up at the border, but we just deemed it a no-fly zone for even like drones and stuff anyway.
No, well, that's unless you're a cartel, then you can do whatever you want down there. Yeah. So we seem to let those guys do whatever they want with impunity on our border.
God, she sucks.
But it's
so
against
bad.
the law.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, it is against the law.
So we should pass more laws that people will not follow.
God, she sucks.
Yeah, she really does.
I know it's your line. I apologize.
So
I couldn't hold it in.
She sucks.
She sucks.
Oh, she sucks as bad as this Canadian miss.
Tell us how you really feel, Rooster.
She sucks like McCormick's.
Maybe on a good day, Kentucky Tavern.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so that's pretty much it.
Speaking of bad alcohol, what about old Ranch Water Boy?
So, I don't know if you guys remember Ranch Water Day.
Ryan Bigham.
So, Ranch Water Day, I like country music. I fancy myself a cowboy every now and then. Not like George Bush, W. Bush. I'm a cowboy and I was a Yale cheerleader. Not that kind of cowboy.
You fancy yourself a cowboy like Brokeback Mountain, or you fancy yourself
I don't really know anything about sheep herding. And
wow.
I guess that's where you were going with that.
Of course.
Yeah.
But no, so Ryan Bingham is the spokesperson for Ranch Water, and that was one of the weirdest drinks we had on the show so far. Yeah. So, natty.
Moving on.
Sorry. Anyway, so Ryan Bingham was the spokesperson for Ranch Water, and as we did it, we got it. We're like, hey, what kind of cowboy would actually drink this garbage? Nobody won that day, if you remember.
Yeah, that was bad all the way around. Thank you for bringing that back up.
So I now understand why he's the spokesperson, because he's a cowboy. He's got was the song South Side of Heaven, and he was on Yellowstone. So he's a cowboy, but he's getting a divorce. So
I hate to
hear that. He's married for 12 years, and
is he gonna cry Ranch Water tears?
Well, you think, but where this comes into Ranch Water is he's having to get a legal name change with his divorce. So you ask yourself, what kind of cowboy drinks Ranch Water? Well, the kind of cowboy that drinks Ranch Water is the same kind of cowboy who takes his wife's last name.
Well, that explains a lot.
So it's his legal name right now is actually Ryan. I got it written down here somewhere. Ryan Axter Bingham. His used to just be Ryan Bingham, so he hyphenated with his old lady's last name on that one. So now he's gonna not only gonna lose half his stuff, he loses a third of his name.
So he hyphenated the name. I sort of get that.
I mean, that's something progressive. And ladies have had to do do that for a while.
Yeah. I mean, they've been doing it for a while. But let me ask you something, man. If you were to get married, would you take your lady's last name? We're waiting.
It's a trap.
It's a trap.
All right, Akbar.
Pull up. The shields are still up.
Me personally, I'm even though that I'm much more I'm pretty moderate thinking.
Mm-hmm.
There are some things in this world that me personally, I prefer tradition.
Correct.
So, and that's one of those things that,
and it is a choice. It is a choice.
Yeah, and it's a choice. I would prefer the traditional.
Yeah, I would choose not to. But I would also choose that if my lovely bride wanted to hyphenate her name, I would not like that.
You wouldn't want her to keep part of her name?
No, I mean, I don't want it hyphenated. If she wants to, throw the 4 or 5 names, in there and make it like a weird middle name. Maybe that's what Bigham did. But no, I'm a traditionalist when it comes to marriage. Meaning that the wife takes the husband's last name. That's how it works.
And so, for those that are 2 husbands or 2 wives, how do you feel that should work?
Flip a coin.
They got to flip a coin for that one. So, but that takes us outside of traditional marriage.
Yeah, I was about to say
that's really none of my business how they do it, and I don't really have it to say because I'll never be involved in one of those marriages. Not because I'm against it, just because
I'm not going to be a part of it.
It's never going to happen to me. I mean, it's not one of those things.
So I think that the way he clarified it was that because it was a traditional. Oh, timers went off, but I'll finish that. That because he said that in the traditional marriage. So I can see what he's saying without going overly clucking offensive or anything.
Yeah, that's it.
People can find it offensive. It's fine.
That's a whole different path.
I'm fine with it. I have my belief on marriage. Other people have their belief on marriage. I don't believe anybody should be told they can't get married.
You find it offensive.
I don't believe anybody should be told they can get married.
I find it funny. That's
but
why
I do believe in traditional marriage. So that doesn't mean that it's bad against anybody else who doesn't. That's just my belief. I have a right to it, and there it is.
Understood? So let's go back.
So
Yeah, I'm going to do another go back.
The other
okay. I was going to ask something, but that's cool.
No, go ahead.
Go from
Canadian Mist.
to
Not
the
good.
Pendleton.
That is just awful. And I smelled it as I was drinking it.
Yeah, you got to learn not to breathe when you take a drink.
It contaminates the Pendleton.
It does.
It makes the Pendleton taste bad.
It does.
Mm.
Weird.
So there's no involvement of the Canadian Mist. That's
Yeah, you
pleasant.
can't get the aftertaste out of your mouth enough to not
No, you can't.
poison the Pendleton.
That's just bad.
Yeah.
It's just. I don't even know if we should go around the table. Actually, yeah, I want to hear this.
Yeah.
Let's go around the table. Tell you what, let's start down yonder.
Jizzo,
what are your thoughts on this Pendleton?
The Pendleton's a thumbs up.
And the Canadian Mist.
A big thumbs down.
all right. So,
All right.
Pendleton,
But
morals?
keep it simple.
I am going to vote the same. Pendleton all the way.
Okay. Madman?
Whenever it comes to Canadian Mist, there are several things that I would rather have the aftertaste of in my mouth, such as
Okay.
a skunk's ass or
An elephant's butthole?
I'm going to go ahead and red card you right there. Let's keep
didn't-
that path from.
I
from
didn't
going.
even. I have.
All right,
how
so-
did I get from a red? I haven't even got a yellow card
I
this
didn't
episode.
red card you. Rooster said it.
Oh, you red carded him. Okay, so I'm good.
No,
I
you
keep
got red
going.
carded for what I said. That's how that works.
I'm literally this is up there with one of the worst ones we've ever had.
So,
The Pendleton. I mean, even though it's the lower end of the Pendleton, it's good.
Cool.
I like it.
So
Thumbs
I'm
up.
going to go Pendleton. I really, when you brought these both in, just because of the Kung Fu grip, I really wanted to have a nice happy marriage of hyphenating.
Oh yeah, Jizzo, did you see the
Canadian
Kung
Mist
Fu grip on this?
Pendleton as a marriage, but
So if you
I'm going to
look-
be traditional, and I'm just going to go
Look here.
Pendleton.
Yeah, that's for when you're pounding them in a parking lot before you go into the bar to start a fight.
Oh.
It's easier to hang on to.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Jizzo acts like he speaks from experience.
Pounding it in the parking lot, huh?
I will not comment.
Yeah, well played.
So
going
have,
for the
have you
radar
actually
Rooster.
pounded some Canadian Mist in the parking lot with your Kung Fu grip bottle before going into a reputable establishment?
It was a miss, but it's pretty much the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna just pause that conversation right there and wrap this thing up.
You should do it. Wrap it up.
You should always wrap it up, especially if there's any whiskey involved. I mean, you don't want to have to wake up in the morning and like try to gnaw your
So,
arm off.
do you
or
get
something.
whiskey goggles, or is it still beer goggles?
Now you get whiskey other things.
Whiskey.
Oh.
We can't talk about
Oh,
it.
yeah, we don't want to talk about that,
Yeah.
that particular scenario. So,
That's how you end up getting whiskey snail trails.
And we do not have a sponsor for that.
come on, there's no card for that one. I got carded.
You are
man.
welcome.
Jeez. All right, let's.
That's it.
That's
it.
it. We got it. I mean,
We put it right in the ground.
we're not
Also
going to.
true.
Yeah.
We're gonna beat the ambulance there by a good 35,
So,
45 minutes.
Moral story is don't drink Canadian Mist and stay away from ranch water. And don't listen to Ryan Bigham.
Don't listen to
His
Ryan.
music's cool. His advice
Sucks.
sucks. It's so suspect.
All right. Well, you've been listening to episode 64 of Whiskey and Wine with the Rooster and the Madman, the Morals, and our special guest Jizzo. And remember, in a world full of chickens, be a rooster. You're listening to Whiskey and Wine. Thanks for tuning in to Whiskey and Wine with the Rooster and the Madman, where you can catch brand new episodes every Saturday at 4 p.m. on Deep Dallas Radio on Locked and Loaded with DJ Shane Guns.
Special thanks to our sponsor, GiftedChicken.com, home to all your beard, bath, and body care needs. Veteran owner operator right here in North Texas. Remember to pick up a bottle of Overlord's Dungeon Oil. It's 100% all natural coconut oil.
Leaves you prickly on the insides.